Hi guys, welcome to Thank God It's Football. This is our fourth episode of the review of the 2019-20 season. Today we'll be talking about the last five teams of the Premier League. Starting with Southampton, they finish in 11th position and Danny Ings is their highest scorer. What do you guys have to say about Southampton's season? Starting with Marcel.
I think they've had a very good season after that 9-0 defeat to Leicester. They've really had a good season. What people have expected from them, they've actually done that. Uh, they're, I don't know how their manager got them to, got their mentality in the positive direction to recover from a loss like that, an insulting loss like that, and then they've just really they've really showed um the strong mentality in their game.
Okay. So moving on, Danny Ings. He has been the hero for Southampton for sure this season. So, Arnav, what do you have to say about Danny Ings and the rest of the Southampton squad?
Well, Danny Ings signing getting confirmed before the season was a great boost for Southampton. Definitely, Ralph Hasenhutl's tactics suit him the most. He was also in the running for Golden Boot, and that too in a team that finished 11th
Yeah,
is pretty amazing. What I feel is what Danny Ings has done, and I feel he's put himself right back into the contention for English squad for Euro
that's a
21.
bold statement as well. Okay, moving on to Shrieker, Ralph Hasenhüttl. What do you think? What do you think he changed? How do you think he changed his tactics and everything after losing 9-0 to Leicester? And how do you think they pulled it out of the bag to finish 11th?
Uh, See, what we had seen in the starting was Southampton. I don't think it was a change in the tactics as much as it was a change in the mentality as such. It was, yeah, so that's what it was, a change in the mentality. The moment they were beaten 9-0, they had something they had to prove. After the 9-0 defeat, after the 9-0 defeat, how many people, a majority of the people thought over Southampton were out of the PL. Because after you get defeated 9-0, I don't think there's coming back from it.
True, true.
So they did it. They really proved everybody wrong when the way they played. And if anybody did it was Danny Ings. Danny Ings has 22 goals. The second highest goal scorer is 5 goals.
Yeah. So from my perspective, I feel like Southampton had a pretty decent season. I mean, they started off very slowly. They lost 9-0 to Leicester, and after that, they just pulled it back like no one would have believed. They really did play well towards the end of the season after the lockdown as well. I really loved their game against Manchester United, where they managed to pull off a 2-2 draw when many were not expecting it. And for me, the man of the tournament for Southampton has certainly been Ralph Hasen. I mean, of course, Danny Ings as well. I mean,
Ralph
Yeah,
Danny Ings
Hasenhuttl,
as well, but I think Ralph Hasenhüttl has really done wonders this season. So, moving on, what do you guys feel Southampton could improve for next season, considering the fact that uh, their one of their star midfielders, Højbjerg, has left to join Tottenham Hotspur? Any
they
one
need
of
to
you?
have a good transfer window and sign a proper replacement for Holberg. And yeah, it needs another striker, I feel, along with Danny Ings. But if this is working, this is fine.
So, what do you think about Marcel only, since you're uh, answering? What do you think of Michael Obafemi as him being a backup to Danny Ings?
I'd rather have Shane Long as his backup.
Okay, all right, fair enough, fair point. So on that note, let's move on. Let's move on to the ratings of Southampton. What do you guys feel should be a fair rating for Southampton this season, starting with Arnav. All right.
I'd probably give them an 8.
Marcel,
7.5.
Shriko,
8.
I'll also give them an 8. So I think we can move on by saying that they deserve an 8. The next team we'll be talking about is Tottenham Hotspur. They finished in sixth this season, with Harry Kane being the highest scorer with 18 goals. Shrikar, do you think sixth position at the start of the
Sorry.
season? Do you think?
Yeah.
Uh, all right, sorry, I'll repeat that. So, Shrikar, do you think sixth position at the beginning of the season was where Spurs wanted to finish?
Many people pegged Spurs to be in the top 3 this season. They even thought they'd finish second. Many people did think they'd finish second, considering the kind of squad they have, and I don't think you can blame them. Spurs do have a really good squad. Their weakest link probably should have been. I mean, at the start of the season, their weakest link probably should have been, Aurier. But then he proved himself, and one of the best players for Spurs this season, according to me, was Sissoko. But then obviously, no. I mean, I don't think sixth was where they wanted to finish, and definitely, I don't think Mourinho is the manager they should have hired. But yeah.
All right. So, moving on to Marcel. So, Pochettino was sacked halfway to the season. Do you think that Spurs made the right decision in sacking him, or do you think they should have stuck with him considering the success he has had at Spurs?
I think they should have backed him, just given him one full season, and because he did take them to a Champions League final, and he's made this Tottenham Hotspur, this Tottenham team, a good team. Like Shika said, they they were they were tipped to end up in the top 3. He's transformed this team, so I think the board should have put in a little more faith in him and given him this whole season, and
I
then taken some action.
I agree with that.
If I may add to that point,
Yeah, sure.
uh, Spurs, the owners have actually given Mourinho a lot of money. Okay, uh, and we can all agree that definitely, uh, this thing definitely, what do you say? Poch didn't have enough this thing, so much backing
Backing.
as. As Mourinho did at least. I mean, Mourinho spent what 53.8 million or something on Ndombele. Okay. And the kind of signings that Pochettino made during his time, he hardly was given any money. He was picking he was making the best out of what he got and literally created a very good team out of what he had. So probably if they gave the backing, like Marcel said, if they probably gave the backing that they're giving to Mourinho today to Pochettino, probably Spurs could have actually finished in the Champions League without a doubt.
So, staying with you, Shrikar, you talked about Ndombele being bought for 50 plus million. What do you make of his season this year? Do you think that he has the potential to be a success in the Premier League, or do you feel like his game is not suited for the Premier League?
See, he definitely does. I mean, see, you can't really decide the fate of a player in the Premier League in one season. You definitely can't. Everybody thought Fred was finished when he came to United, but then Fred really proved people wrong this season. So, I mean, I'm not saying just in case of Fred. Many people they take at least a year to settle in, and
True.
then you actually see them grow after the second from the second season. So probably he deserves one more season, and probably I mean I don't know I just don't think Mourinho has got it anymore. But yeah, let's see.
Okay. So, moving on to Arnav. So, Arnav being a Chelsea fan and Shaker saying that Mourinho doesn't have it, and the whole history with Chelsea and Mourinho. Arnav, what do you have to say about Jose Mourinho's season so far at Spurs? And do you think that he did well to get them to sixth, considering where he got them from?
Honestly, when I first read Mourinho joined Spurs, I thought I was dreaming because I think it was early in the morning only. But then he's a tried and tested and proven manager. So I feel the Spurs board have taken a safe decision to get in Mourinho because everybody knows Mourinho can deliver. And he is a second season man, so I'm
All
looking
right.
forward to Spurs next season.
And what do you make again, Arnav? What do you make on Harry Kane's injury? Do you think that derailed Spurs a little bit?
Definitely, I mean, Spurs do not have somebody else who can play as a striker other than Harry Kane. Lucas Moura can play at max as a good false nine, but I think they need to buy someone, a good striker who can play second fiddle
All right. So
to
do you think
Harry
that
Kane
maybe
this
Son
season.
and Harry Kane can play together up top, or do you prefer Son on the wing?
Uh, I like Son personally
Okay.
up top with Harry Kane, He- and he plays more like a false nine, so he'll come back, he'll get the ball and create for
Okay.
Harry Kane. One player I feel who has improved a lot
I agree.
is
Even
Davison
I feel like
Sanchez.
Davidson Sanchez has really done well this season, and I was impressed with Aurier as well. And also, I feel like they do need a new centre back pair. I feel like Alderweireld and Vertonghen are a little bit old now, and
And
Vertonghen is
Waterman
gone.
as
is
you
not
already
there
know,
anymore.
As you already know, Vertonghen is not there anymore. So I
I
feel
mean,
like they
he's
need
gone
to,
to another club. He's
yeah,
alive. He's just
I,
gone to
yeah,
another club.
I know. My point was he's not at Spurs anymore. So yeah, I think it's going to be a new era for them as well, starting soon. All right, so moving on, let's give the rating for Spurs season this year. Shrikar, what do you think?
5.
Marcel,
I'd have to agree with Shrikar. 5.
Arnav?
I'll go with them as well. Five.
I know this might be a little bit of a shocker, but I'm gonna give them a 2.5
Not a shock
because
for me.
I thought
because
Marcel was the
Not a
Arsenal
shock for
fan.
me. Not a shock for me.
no, I'm not saying it as a Chelsea fan. I'm saying it in a actual
Yeah,
overall
I'm giving a
season this year.
biased, actually unbiased opinion.
Yeah, I'm totally
Biased.
unbiased.
Yeah, we get
Total.
it.
my,
This is a
my, my,
totally
unbiased, unbiased. Sorry, unbiased.
no. This is a totally
Modi fan Mark is doing Monkey Bat today.
Unbiased, unbiased.
no. This is a totally unbiased opinion. I feel like considering the fact that they were tipped to finish in the top four and they only got Europa League has been a real disappointment. So
They didn't get you. They still didn't qualify for Europe. They have to play the qualifiers.
exactly, actually, yeah, that's my mistake again. They have to play the qualifiers for the champion Europa League.
Arsenal took their spot.
And I know you must be very happy with that. On, yeah. So our next team we have is Watford. They finished in 18th position, if I'm not wrong. Troy Deeney was their highest scorer. What do you guys make of Watford's season this year?
Disappointing. I
Very
mean,
disappointing.
with the signing of DLFAU, you really expected stuff from the attack.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
agree. I agree.
dude left Barcelona and came to Watford. You expect shit from him. I mean, what Barcelona also are playing in the same level right now, but yeah,
That is a very
Oh,
strong
you really
statement,
expect
Shrikar, but
stuff.
oh.
I mean, we all saw it, didn't we, yesterday?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
For
so moving on,
me, for
Marcel.
me, biggest
Okay, yeah,
disappointment
sorry.
for me, the biggest disappointment for Watford this season was Roberto Pereira. I mean, he had a good season last season, if I'm not wrong, and he's disappeared this season.
Yeah, I feel that as well. Especially against Chelsea. He always plays well against Chelsea, but then
It's not just against Chelsea or someone. He genuinely had a good season last year, but he
yeah,
disappeared in
that's
the
actually
19th of
true.
this season.
So Marcel, do you think that the age of the Watford strikers, do you think that has affected them a little bit this season? Considering Troy Deeney, he's 30 plus, and they have a very aging team. So do you think that that has affected their squad a little bit and their gameplay?
Age always affects players' performance. I mean, most of the players. Like there are very few players
Not
who,
everyone
Zlatan
for
is
them,
Ibrahimovic.
Zlatan.
age. Yeah, exactly. Not everyone is Zlatan. So yeah, I think age does affect the the player's performance, but Watford have a very talented squad, and I did not expect them to get relegated.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I also was very shocked, but then they did have a very poor season. Okay, so I have another question. Do you think Deulofeu should stay at Watford, bring them back to the Premier League, or do you think that he's going to try and force a move away? Shrika?
Uh, see, considering the fact that see, he came from Barcelona to Watford, okay, and from PL to Championship. So I don't really see an upside anymore because I don't think any club would really want him as such because he hasn't been, exactly impressive this season.
Okay.
So
He's had an injury.
if a club asks for
Yeah,
him,
exactly. I was
He's
just
had an
definitely
about to
injury.
he did
to
have an
ask.
injury. He did have an injury, but was he impressive enough even with the time on the pitch that he has had? Okay, fine, you can say tactics, but was he impressive at Barcelona at least? Do you think clubs will actually go for him, and do you think they'll pay the asking price?
And probably, and given his age, he's 26, probably end of his peak, also I feel.
Yeah,
But
he's a
the
winger.
biggest no, but then let me address the biggest problem for Watford this season. It has been their management. They had four bloody managers for one season.
Okay, all right, guys. So moving on, let's give our ratings for the Watford season. Marcel,
One.
okay, Arnav,
One.
Shrika.
Let's just say one for each manager. Four.
Yeah, I guess yeah. So let's just give them a one on. Moving on to our next team, we have
10
West Ham
for
United.
this season.
West Ham United's highest goal scorer was Antonio with 10 goals. What do you think of West Ham's season this year? Shrika?
It has definitely been more of a roller coaster of a season for them. Antonio is their highest scorer with 10 goals. 8 of them he scored post lockdown. What were they doing before that? No one knows.
And four in the same match.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Four in the same
So
match.
you don't know what the hell is going on with that team. And see, they were one of the teams that really, really wanted the PL season to be suspended. That shows the mentality that they were just happy staying, in the league. That, okay, they didn't really want to fight for the league. They were like happy just not being relegated at all.
Okay. Moving on to Arnav, what do you think of Declan Rice? What do you think of his season this year?
Declan Rice had a brilliant season at CDM for West Ham, and under David Moyes, I feel he's only improved because we see him making attacking runs also these days. If I'm not wrong,
Yeah.
he moves on. He supports the wingers really well. Declan Rice. Now coming to West Ham, I feel the biggest flop was
Sebastian
Sebastian
Haller.
Haller.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was just about to ask Marcel, what did you think of Sebastian Haller's season this year? Do you think
He
it's
was.
been tough for him?
It was a disappointment for him. His season was very bad. Like he was such a you know he was very dangerous before he joined West Ham, and now he was a he was a threat. Now he just doesn't. It seems out of place in the team. But
All
it
right,
could be because it's his first season and it might take time for him to adapt. I hope he adapts.
all right. So Arnav, do you have any other points that you would like to add for West Ham season this year?
I think since Declan Rice is leaving, they should cash in on Rice and bring in two, three good players, West Ham, who are players who are available for cheap and will do the job.
Okay,
And that will probably help West Ham a lot.
all right.
And David Moyes is a proven manager.
Yeah, he'll
That is
probably
true.
sign Fellaini.
Yeah, so Shekhar, final thoughts on West Ham season?
They are disappointing. West Ham is a house of talents, man. The kind of players they've produced, even Declan Rice this season.
Issa
I mean,
Diop,
yeah, Diop is good. They have produced Carrick, Ferdinand. the list just goes on. Lampard. So
Check.
I mean, see, you obviously see them coming up again and playing well, but right now I don't have anything to say. It all depends on how they make things work next season. This season was obviously a disappointment.
Okay, so I guess it's safe to say that we were all disappointed by West Ham this season. So what would you rate? What would you rate West Ham season, Marcel?
3 would be a fair rating, I think.
Okay,
3.
Arnav.
West Ham's rating would be 3, their luck would be 10.
I agree. I agree. They did have a good. They did have a good post-lockdown period though, with Michael
Yep.
No,
Antonio
no, no.
really did save
Antonio
them.
did. They didn't.
I mean, Antonio is a part of the team. If you ask Antonio yourself, he'll say he did do it for the team. So, all right. So, Shika, what did you rate?
Three,
What would you rate? Three.
three, three.
Yeah, I guess three is a safe. So moving on, we have our final team of the 2019-20 season. We have Wolverhampton Wanderers. They finish in a pretty reasonable seventh position. They missed out on the Europa League because of Arsenal's FA Cup win, and their highest scorer was Jimenez. So, Arnav, what did you think of Wolves' season, and uh, how do you think they backed up their finish to the previous season?
Well, Wolves have done it for 2 seasons in a row. They have impressed me, that is for sure. And especially, I'm talking about pre-COVID. The Wolves away form is something that is shocking. Most teams struggle away from home, but Wolves away from home look more composed than Wolves at home.
I agree.
And one more biggest find for me for Wolves this season was Traore, obviously, and Pedro Neto.
Okay. All right. So, Shrikar, Wolves have had the longest season of the whole of all the Premier League teams. Do you think that affected their ending to their season, or do you think that it was just that the lockdown break, had an effect on them and they were not able to finish as strongly as they would have liked?
Uh, See, I mean, obviously, the long season definitely played a role, and the break affected different teams in different ways. Few teams became better, few teams became worse. But overall, what I feel is Wolves, Wolves do have team play, but then they depend on a few players specifically, and not their whole team.
Okay.
Like in the
Oh,
attack, there's only Jimenez who's been very impressive. Rest of them are still okayish. Jota started getting his form back a little before lockdown, and then he didn't really spark after lockdown. So yeah,
okay.
that's what
Moving
I
on to
meant.
Marcel. Marcel, what do you have to say about Nuno's tactics? And do you think that you can consider him one of the best managers in England?
Um, I think Nono's tactics, they work really well for the team he has. And yeah, like Arnav said, they've been so good away from home. Their away record is really good. And then even this thing, their fixtures, they had to play. I don't think it's the problem with the tactics. It's the problem with the fixtures they have. They have to play
Yeah, they
the
had to play
midweek,
midweek.
The Europa League on Thursdays and Premier League on the weekends. I think that affected them in the end to
Okay.
get the European competition spot. That
All
affected them, and like Shrikar said, they rely on individual talents. Like you see in defense, Matt Doherty is extremely good. Matt Doherty, and
yes.
that's one. And then Neto and Jimenez and Traore, Ruben Neves. They're just
Willy Bolly
bunch
as
of
well.
players. Willy Bolly as well, and
Roman
even
Saiz and Patricio.
Patricio
Yeah.
is a good keeper.
Yeah.
So
True.
like Shrika said, they rely on certain individuals' performance. And no about being one of the best managers in England. I wouldn't say he's one of the best, but he's um, better than many
Top 10,
other
I would say.
managers. Top 10, definitely top 10.
Okay. So, again, moving on to one of the points that you just made, you said that Europa League fixtures on Thursday and then on weekend, Premier League. So next season they don't have any European competitions to worry about. So, do you feel like if they do not finish, in a higher position, say probably either in a fifth position or a sixth position, or even fight for a top four, do you think that it would be disappointing, considering the fact that they have just the Premier League to focus on?
Yeah, it is a
Uh,
disappointment because you have nothing else but the Premier League to focus on. And if a team like Wolves is focusing on the Premier League, you're gonna aim either in the fourth, fifth, or sixth spot. And if you don't get that, again, it's just another disappointment.
True.
I'd like to take this one, Jeet.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
See, next season is going to be bloody unpredictable. I'll tell you because Leeds are coming back up. Chelsea's manager Lampard has got his signings. Arteta's has teams has settled in. Ole's team has settled in. Pep Guardiola. I mean, you're getting what I'm saying,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Ancelotti is also there. So next season is going to be darn amazing. And if I was a Wolf fan and next season we didn't finish in the top 10, I would not be disappointed because given all these factors and stuff happening around them, I would still be happy if Wolves manage to finish in the top 10 or not in the top 10, but definitely not going to get relegated.
Yeah, true. So on that note, let's give our ratings for Wolves. Marcel, what do you think?
7.5 to 8. 8, I'll give them an 8.
All right, Shrikar.
Uh, I'd give them a 6.5.
Okay, and Arnav.
I'd give them 7 for 7th finish.
Yeah, I think I'd give them a 7 because I expected a little more from them in Europe, but then yeah, 7. So it's safe to say that they've had a season worth of a 7.
Yep.
So, on that note, we have finished our review on all the 20 Premier League teams for the 2019-20 season. We thank you so much for listening to us. And any suggestions that you guys have, you can either put them down in the comments below or you can DM us on Instagram. We are always available. uh, Please do subscribe to our channel because we have a few exciting things coming up. We'll be starting a new series soon, so we'll keep you updated on that. And yeah, thank you for watching. Please like,